accepting each other in the present moment. When do you feel the happiest and most joyful? And when do you feel the saddest? Surely, there are moments of joy and moments of sadness, right? Why do we wear new clothes? Why do we make ourselves look beautiful? Why do we decorate our homes so beautifully? The happiest moment is when we are recognized, and the saddest moment is when no one acknowledges us. Because true joy lies deep inside, and that is when we are accepted and loved. In reality, within these things lies a reason. The moment we are happiest is perhaps when we are accepted, recognized, and feel loved. That is an experience of being acknowledged, and it is also the moment we feel happy. So how can we achieve that? We make ourselves beautiful to be accepted. Moreover, we want to be able to give of ourselves. When we dress nicely, wear new clothes, it's not just to beautify ourselves, but also to reach out to others, to visit, to connect. Joy comes when we have encounters, when we feel recognized. But if, when we arrive at a place, we feel something is blocking us, we don't want to meet someone, or we feel that others don't want to welcome us and don't recognize us, then we will feel sad. In reality, this is the fundamental aspect of every human being. We are born to give, and when we are not accepted, we feel pain. Now, I would like to share with you some studies. An experiment was conducted. A mother sat in front of a very young child, about more than 10 months old. But instead of showing any emotion, the mother kept a neutral, expressionless face, neither happy nor angry. The child looked at the mother for a while, but then couldn't bear it and started crying. This shows that humans are born to be accepted. Another very interesting study. When men shake hands, it has been observed that most of them tend to bring their hands up near their noses to sniff. Why is that? Because humans, by instinct, want to feel the presence of the other person when they approach them, wanting to connect with them. Therefore, women are often very sensitive, using perfume to make an impression. But it's not just women. Men also use perfume in various ways. Why is that? Because we want to give of ourselves, and we also desire to be accepted. When the Virgin Mary presented Jesus in the temple, what did we see? According to Jewish tradition, we must look back to the Old Testament. Did you know that in the book of Exodus, when the Israelites were freed by God from the slavery of Egypt, there was one very special night? On that night, God sent an angel to pass over the doors of the houses. And God commanded that any house without the lamb's blood on the door would have their firstborn son die. But if there was lamb's blood on the door, the angel would pass over and not stop, and their firstborn son would be spared. Because of this, the Jews have always believed that the firstborn son belongs to God. Therefore, when a child is born, after 40 days of purification, the parents must bring the child to the temple to present him to God, along with an offering to redeem their child. If they have the means, they would offer a calf or a lamb. But if they are poor, they may offer a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. This is why, when we read the Gospel according to St. Luke, Luke 2:22-40, we see that St. Joseph and the Virgin Mary were very poor, because St. Joseph and the Virgin Mary could only offer a pair of turtle doves. But what is special? When the Virgin Mary presented Jesus to God, he was given back to her and St. Joseph. This means that God the Father gave his only Son to humanity as a complete gift. Therefore, the deeper meaning of the feast of the presentation of the Lord is the giving, the complete offering of God to humanity. Remember, Jesus came to be with us every day, even in the most painful moments, even when we stumble. The cross is the symbol of decisive giving. When Simeon prophesied that a sword will pierce your soul, it was a foretelling of the pain the Virgin Mary would endure as she witnessed her Son die on the cross. So what can we learn from this lesson? There are 3 important reflections. 1. Life is about giving and offering. We always long to give and to be accepted. But sometimes we fear that others will not accept us. 2. We hesitate to love again because we have been hurt in the past, and we are afraid to open our hearts to new love. But love is not to blame. It's just that some people don't know how to love us. Don't let the past distort the concept of love in our hearts. 3. Live in the present moment. Most of us live in the past or the future. We judge others based on old wounds or expectations for the future. But only by living in the present do we truly accept others as a gift. If we live the present moment, it is by living the present moment that we can fulfill all our duties well. It is by living the present moment that crosses become lighter. It is by living the present moment that we can receive divine inspirations and the promptings of God's grace in the now. It is by living the present moment that we can bear fruits of holiness. St. Francis de Sales once said, "Each moment comes to us with a command, and then it passes into eternity, where it is recorded with what we have done." Each moment is a grace. So let us live the present moment and live it perfectly. Then, at the end of each day and at the end of our lives, we will find ourselves filled with good deeds accomplished and acts of love offered. Let us remember that. God never takes away any grace He has for us. When we receive the body of Christ, does He say, "You are not worthy like the other, so I will take away some grace from you"? No, God does not say that. He always gives Himself completely and decisively. So the question is, are we ready to offer ourselves completely to God and to each other? If we are not yet able to do that, it means we are not truly ready to dedicate our lives. The Feast of the Presentation of the Lord is the celebration of Jesus offering Himself completely to humanity. All the way to the cross, we must learn to love as Christ has loved us. Love today is not like it was in the past. It has become too easy. Just a text message, a chat, or a video call on the phone is enough. It no longer requires effort, sweat, or the act of riding a bike or driving just to meet someone in person. It no longer demands tangible gestures of sacrifice and giving. We can simply take a picture and send it effortlessly, and over time, our love becomes weaker and less enduring. If we want love to be strong, steadfast, and able to withstand the many trials of this difficult life, we must practice it. We must strive, little by little, step by step, to truly love others. From the moment we are born, we experience pain. The umbilical cord is cut, and we cry out in agony. Yet, we live under the illusion that life should be free from suffering. We expect and demand that those around us should never cause us pain. But if we insist on living in a world where no one is allowed to hurt us, it often means that we are the ones causing pain to others. If we refuse to allow any suffering within our family, then surely we are the ones inflicting suffering upon them. Why must we suffer? Can we live a life without pain? The answer is no. That is the truth. Can we live a life without death? Again, the answer is no. If we do not accept this reality now, we will continue to live in illusion, turning our backs on one another and giving up when life becomes difficult. Love is not a fleeting feeling, but a daily choice. We must learn to love, to accept, to be patient, and to sacrifice. Only in this way can love have the strength to overcome challenges and help us live more fully in the grace of God.